1. So this is kind of a rant, but also me asking for a bit of advice. My hotel has a housekeeping team that is basically worthless. We wait guests after check-in time on a daily basis, and it happens basically every Friday and Saturday. I am the manager on duty 5 or 6 nights a week and every Friday and Saturday night, so I always get the brunt of the reaction from guests when this happens. Here is a story about why I might be at my breaking point. Recently, we underwent a management change, and things started to get better in some areas. We have a new general manager and a new operations manager. They care, they're great to work with, and they seem to genuinely care about their employees. The new GM approached the housekeeping manager and asked her why they were having so much trouble getting rooms ready by 4 p.m. She told him that they didn't have enough linen to clean the rooms quickly. He put in a request to corporate, and they approved a $10,000 purchase for linen for the hotel. $10,000 for sheets! The housekeeping managers and supervisors were over the moon with this, saying that they finally had the tools to do their jobs properly. Great. We can fix the one glaring hole in this hotel, right? Wrong. After the linen was delivered, they washed it all, folded it, and got it into position in our laundry room. This was 2 weeks ago, and we are still waiting guests on a regular basis after 4 p.m. When I call the housekeeping managers about rooms at 6:30 about getting me a clean room because we have none, I either get ignored or told to hold on. Tonight, I lost it on them. I called them all into the office at around 7 when we still had around 20 arrivals scheduled. And the following conversation happened. Keep in mind, we had a total of 27 arrivals for the day today. 27, and guests were getting waited at 6:30. Anyway, this is how it went down. Okay, so explain to me exactly why we are waiting guests at 6:30 when we only had 27 arrivals for the day?
Because I don't have clean king sheets.
You misunderstood me, I think. My fault, let me be clear. Tell me exactly why we couldn't get 27 rooms ready between 12 and 4 when we just spent $10,000 on new sheets so you could get everything ready when it's supposed to be ready. I want names, I want times, and I want exact specific reasons.
Well, I can't give you that. I don't know off the top of my head who exactly is responsible for this.
Then you're responsible for all this. We had 27 rooms to clean for new guests today. 27 to clean between noon and 4. That's less than 7 rooms per hour with a fully staffed team. That's nothing.
You've never been a housekeeper. You don't know how hard it is.
You're right. That I've never been a housekeeper. But you're wrong in that you think I don't know how hard it is. I can clean a room from start to finish by myself in under half an hour. That's me, alone. You're supposed to have 2 housekeepers per room, and they are far more experienced than I am in doing this. A team of 2 should have a room done in 20 minutes at most. 27 rooms with 5 teams should take no more than 2 hours to clean. Why are we waiting guests at 6:30?
I don't know what to tell you. The rooms aren't clean. We had late checkouts.
I can clearly see that the rooms aren't clean. How many late checkouts did you have, and what time did each one check out?
You want to know the exact checkout times of every late checkout individually? That's ridiculous.
So is waiting guests at 6:30 when we had 27 arrivals. In fact, it isn't just ridiculous, it's pathetic. Housekeeping manager walked out of the office very shortly after, saying something about being disrespected. I go on vacation next week, and if I wait even one guest the weekend I return, I will be calling corporate to file a formal grievance. I'm done getting shit on every weekend, and at least 2 other days a week because my housekeepers are lazy pieces of shit who just wasted 10 grand. I'm done. 2. This happened a couple months ago. We'd hired a new breakfast attendant who'd only been there a couple weeks, and she had come in on a day our regular breakfast attendant called in sick. That day just happened to be a Saturday where we were sold out the night before. I'm standing at the desk looking at the notes for the day's arrivals when this guest comes out of the breakfast room all red with the new breakfast attendant in tow. Here's how the conversation went. M will be me, G will be guest, and BA will be breakfast attendant. G storms to the desk.
I've had it with this place. I stayed with you guys last December and everything was great. I don't know what's happened to you all since then. This has been the most dissatisfying stay at any hotel I've ever been at.
I'm extremely sorry to hear that. Please tell me what's going on so I can try to improve your situation a little bit.
It's 9:20 right now, breakfast doesn't end until 10, and you guys are out of eggs in the breakfast room.
Like I said, sir, I'm getting those eggs ready, and they'll be out in around 5 minutes. Why don't you go with me, and I'll bring your eggs to your table?
That is unacceptable. I will not stay here a minute more, and I'll be complaining to corporate about this.
I'm very sorry to hear about your experience, but we were sold out last night, and this breakfast attendant has only been here a couple of weeks. She might not have anticipated how fast everything she put out will go. Have there been any other issues during your stay?
Yes, my TV didn't work all day.
Did you let the front desk know when you found out?
No, it kept saying no signal found. I pressed every single button on the damn remote and nothing happened.
Sir, that's only because whoever must have been in the room before you must have switched the source to HDMI. It's literally a 2-second fix. Had you notified the front desk about it yesterday, they would have fixed it for you right away.
It's not my job to tell you when things don't work.
Like I said, the TV is working perfectly fine. You just had to change the source on it from the front panel on the TV.
Whatever. Get me the number for corporate.
I give it to him and he stomps off to his room. Comes back to the desk after 15 minutes, and he wants a receipt for his stay. And what do you know? His reservation was prepaid and made through this third-party site where you get a surprise discounted rate where they don't even guarantee you the room type. So obviously I wasn't allowed to disclose the rate because he paid with the third party and not the hotel directly. Unfortunately, sir, because your reservation was made through a third-party website, my system won't allow me to print you a zero-balance receipt. The company you booked through will already have sent you the receipt in your email when you booked with them.
I paid the hotel and I demand you give me a receipt this instant.
At this point, he's holding up 2 other families that are waiting to check out, and I pick out the hotel's contact card at my desk, write down the number for corporate customer service, and hand it to him saying, like I said, you paid a third-party company, so it's not even possible for me to know what rate you paid. If I print you a receipt from here, it won't add up to what you paid anyway because they have already taken part of their commission and sent over their own credit card to charge. Please feel free to contact corporate and complain about us. He stomps out, and later in the day I receive a call from customer service asking me if there's any possibility of the guest getting a refund. I flat out say no and explain the circumstances, and they understand and cut the call. I am the AGM at my property, so I handle the hotel's official email address in my downtime. A few days later I got an email from him saying the same BS he said to me at the front desk, and that the person at the desk that morning was very rude to him and didn't want to hear what he had to say. I replied saying everything I told him in person that day and that I was the person he spoke to that day. He replied again saying he was planning on coming back in November during the multi-state New England fair time period, where our rooms are easily above the $250 tax mark, and says that the only way he will come back and stay with us is if he gets a comped room. I tell the GM and he's dumbfounded for a second. He's upset because he didn't want to wait for eggs and he didn't get a receipt. The GM tells me the best we could do would be to offer him a room at the rate of $180 plus tax, which was pretty low for a time like that. I relay that to the guest and he says,
I will never book with your brand again. You're a horrible bunch of people who don't understand customer service.
I never bothered to respond to that email. 3. I work front desk in a small private property. There's a music festival in town, so we are completely booked for the weekend, with maybe a few singles and some suites available. Enters stubborn guest, SG for short, and me is me. Hi, welcome to the hotel. How can I help you?
Hi, do you have any queen rooms available for tonight?
Afraid not, sir. I only have a handful of them, and they're all booked for tonight.
What do you mean?
It means all our queen rooms are taken. I don't have any left. I do have a few single rooms with double bed.
But you had it the last time I was here. I just came in and got the room. I don't like your single room. The bed is too small for me and my wife. Why don't you have them now?
I put on my best sympathetic customer service voice. Yes, sir. But that was before. We are completely booked for the weekend because of the music festival. If you didn't reserve a room in advance, there's nothing I can do. Sorry. Internally, I'm thinking,
That's why it's called a reservation, you idiot!
So you're saying there's no queen room left?
That's correct. I have some singles and a suite left, though, if you'd like.
How much for the suite and the single?
109 plus tax. It's a really big suite for the price. The single is 70 plus tax.
I'll just take the single.
Are you sure? Because you said the bed is too small.
Yeah, I'll be fine. I'm not paying that much for a suite. Ridiculous.
I almost roll my eyes, but check him in quickly and he's on his way. 10 minutes later, the phone rings. It's SG's room. Great. Front desk? Annoying lady, AL for short.
Hi, can I get some towels? We don't have any.
Yes, but I don't have any housekeeping on site, so you'll have to come to the front desk to get them. It was late at night, I was the only person working, and I'm not allowed to leave my post. We keep some towels, pillows, etc. in the back room behind the counter just for this.
How wonderful!
Clicks. Even greater. 5 minutes later, AL arrives at the front desk. There's a door between the reception area and the counter that we must keep locked at all times. But if you want to hand something to a guest, you have to open it because the counter is closed off, so I hand her the towels, and she decides she wants to dance.
Actually, can I have some smaller ones too?
Sure, one moment. I lock the door behind me, retrieve said towels, and come back.
Actually, can I also have an extra pillow?
I want to die a little, but lock the door again, retrieve a pillow, and come back.
Can I have 2 pillows, actually?
Jesus Christ, just tell me everything you need at once, lady. I lock the door, scream silently while she can't see me, retrieve a second pillow, and come back.
Can I have an extra bedsheet too?
I'm close to tears internally, but lock the door, again, to go to the back and check, and come back. I don't have them here.
Fine. So about the room. I don't like it. The bed is too small. We wanted a queen room.
Yes, ma'am. Indeed you did. But I already explained to your husband that I don't have any tonight. They're all booked.
But how? The last time we were here, you still had them. We didn't have to make a reservation or anything.
Yes, but we're completely booked for the weekend. If you don't have a reservation, you're not guaranteed to have a specific room when you walk in.
What upgrades can you give me? What about suites?
None. I did have one when you checked in, but someone just made a reservation, so it's taken. Sorry.
What? Why? How can they do that? That's not possible. We were here first. Why did you give them the suite if we were here first?
Now, I am dead inside. Because you did not take the suite, you took a single. So the suite was listed as available and someone quickly reserved it, as rooms are in high demand for the weekend. It's how reservations work. Besides, I cannot read minds. I cannot know if you want an upgrade if you don't tell me upon check-in. And I did offer the suite, but you didn't take it. Obviously, I don't say that aloud.
Unacceptable! Are you telling me there's nothing available for us?
I did ask your husband if he was sure about the single room, since he told me the bed is too small, but you took it anyway.
But I wanted a queen room!
They're not available.
How much is a suite anyway?
$109 plus tax.
Never mind. I'm not paying that much. Whatever. I'm never coming back here.
Please, never do. 4. Hello, fellow NPCs. So our night audit decided to quit out of nowhere, followed by our relief night audit all within 3 days. For different reasons unrelated to the hotel. First, her boyfriend is in jail in another state. Second one, she was working double shift and couldn't take it anymore. So this guy here has been working 16 hours 3 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift, with some 12-hour shifts 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., just to come back next day at 3 p.m. until 11 p.m. This on top of having 1 or no days off per week. This week I had 2 days off in a row, and I think my dog wasn't sure who I was anymore. So basically I live here now until they find someone new. It can just be a potato sack with a smiley face and I will be happy at this point. Anyway, these are a couple of the events from the last couple of days. 2 sweet 90-year-old ladies check in. It was a gift from their son who paid for everything with a CC authorization. Basically, we just had to check their IDs and give them the keys. They were really nice and excited because it was the first time in the city. And after a nice chat, they went to the room. One of them comes to the front desk asking if our rooms have TVs. Confused, I tell her yes. We do have them in every room, and if there's anything wrong with theirs, well, there is. There is no TV in their room. I go into the room thinking how the hell the last guest took it, and housekeeping didn't say anything. I walked in and the TV is there, mounted in the wall where it should be. Turns out they've never seen a flat-screen TV and they thought it was a painting. A black painting. Showed them how to turn it on, and I helped them call their son so he could get them one for their house. A couple has a reservation for one night in a room with a king bed. The husband's mom is paying for the room, but she never sent the credit card authorization. They show up. I need to explain the authorization form and offer to call his mom to sort this out. After speaking with her, I check them in while she sends the paperwork with the condition that if by the time they check out, I don't have it, her son would be charged. She sends the paperwork right away and I think that's the end. It was not. I'm training a lady to work as night audit, and while someone is checking in, the couple comes back so drunk they can't find their room. I walk up to them in the hallway and I point to the room, and I notice an old lady with a bunch of bags that looked homeless. I ask the lady where she is going, and the husband says she is with them. You see, they got off a concert and they saw her, and God told him to give her a roof for the night. So he tells me it's not a big deal, she will sleep on the floor. Bitch, you thought? I tell him this will absolutely not happen. They could A, get a room with 2 queens and pay the difference, B, get another room with their credit card and be responsible for this lady, C, tell the lady to leave. The drunk husband decides he will do A, but to please not charge him because the Lord wills it. I tell him this is no church, and that if the Lord can cough up a credit card, I will follow the Lord's will, otherwise I have to pay. He gives up and tells me he will take the other room, but 20 minutes go by, and they are still in their original room. I knock on the door. The wife answers, and you could tell she was not amused by any of this. You see, the husband told her I was going to give this poor lady a free room because I was touched by the story, an act of altruism. When I told them the fuck I wasn't going to give them no room for free, she got pretty mad at her husband for lying, and ends up paying for an extra room for the old lady. Apologizes for her dumb husband, and goes off to bed after yelling at him for a bit. In the morning, after setting up breakfast, I am telling this lady I'm training the drunken homeless situation is not normal. Normal for me, yes. I always attract crazy people during my shift, but it's usually not like this during night audit. And that the job is really easy. She goes to her car to get a cup, and when she comes back she tells me there was a guy sleeping in his car in the parking lot. He just pulled in, she asked him what he was doing, and he said he was waiting for someone and she just let him be. I go outside and this dude has all windows down and is just snoring away. I wake him up and tell him to leave the parking lot as it is only for guests. He tells me he is waiting for someone but can't give me a name or room number. I tell him to get lost or I will boot him and tow his car. He agrees to leave and I go back to finish to set up breakfast. 5 minutes go by and I go back outside. This dude is asleep again. So I get the boot and hit the roof of his car with the palm of my hand to wake him up. Apparently he didn't like that. He told me I was rude and had a horrible customer service and that he wanted to speak with my manager. I told him I didn't care as he wasn't a guest and to leave now or his car is getting towed. He decided to call me a bitch-ass. He then used a word that started with N and a bunch of other stuff. Don't think you realized I'm Latino. And I decided I wasn't going to take abuse without getting paid for it, so I calmly told him he either moved his piece of junk right this second, or the metal boot would end up inside his windshield, as fucks were not being given in that moment. I might have told him to eat a dick or two, but who can remember? He sped away into the sunrise while cursing me out. Fun times. The trainee saw everything, and I was ready for her to tell me she will never come back, but she told me how exciting this property was and couldn't wait to start. Again, just don't burn the hotel down and I will be happy, I just want a day off. 5. I work on a very popular street, high-end shopping during the day and nightclubs at night. I work in a building with half condos and half hotel suites. Although the two are separate, each having its own desk, occasionally someone mistakes our entrance for the hotels. I'm head night auditor for the condo side. Cast, me, duh. S Security, H Hooker, X my residence. I came in to work early to help with a huge party. It was great. We were told we could bring our families to meet the residents we work for. Staff and residents treat each other like family. It's a great place to work. So my boss gave me some time to drive my girlfriend home before my next shift. When I got back, most of the staff was gone and people from the party are leaving. I clocked in, took over from my boss, and the night begins. This is where things get fun. It's 2 a.m., all the bars are letting out, and it's fucking chaos for an hour. I just finished cleaning up the mess and moving everything back to normal. I come back to the desk so as my coworker can go do his rounds. When H walks in. Good morning, how are you?
I'm great, coming back from a party.
Sounds fun, glad you had a good time. What can I do for you tonight?
I'm here with X and about to leave, so can you buzz me up to the 4th floor so I can say goodbye before I go?
The 4th floor is a parking garage, so this was a red flag. Are you sure you're not looking for the hotel side? I do have an X that lives here, but he doesn't live on the 4th floor. In fact, it's a parking lot.
No, that's where I parked. I need to get something out of my car before I go up.
Alright, the elevators are always unlocked for that floor. I'll call X to make sure he's home. She leaves for her car, and I call X, and it goes to voicemail. Now she's back down.
I think I left my keys in his unit. Can you buzz me up to his floor?
He actually didn't answer. Let me call him again, and I'll see if I can get them for you. Called him again. This time it goes straight to voicemail like he turned his phone off. I'm sorry, I think his phone is off. Do you have a way to get hold of him?
No, I left my phone in there too. Just buzz me up and I'll go grab everything.
I'm sorry, I can't let you up without X's permission. I'll go knock for you. I go up and knock, and no answer. I'm sorry, he's still not answering, unfortunately. You can use my phone to call a friend, or I can call you a cab. Just leave your info and I'll make sure he gets it.
It's not good enough. I need my things now. What's the next step?
I can leave him a voicemail, but until he gets back with me, unfortunately, you are stuck. I leave him a voicemail, hang up, and ask if she wants to have a seat.
I don't want to take a seat. I want you to call him again until he answers.
Miss, it's 2:30 and I called 3 times. I'm not going to spam him this early. At this point, she started acting really irate, like this was somehow my fault.
This is bullshit. He wouldn't just ignore my phone call.
How is he ignoring your calls? I thought you said your phone was in his unit.
It is.
Then how is he ignoring your calls?
What do you mean? Have you not been calling him?
I did, but that means he's ignoring my phone calls.
I just want to go home. Why can't you just let me leave?
She pulls her car keys out of her purse. How long have you had those? Now she's crying.
The whole time. I don't see what the problem is.
The gates unlock from the inside and you are parked on the outside of them. Leaving has always been allowed. You told me that you left your car keys in his unit. What's the problem? While I was telling her this, I was buzzing security and he walks around the corner. Hey, Az, could you please walk H up to her car and show her how a parking garage works? They walk to the elevators and leave. Here I thought that was the end of her for the night. Wrong. She drove down and parked in our service drive, knocking on my front doors. I walked out there to ask her to leave while security walked back down. What's wrong now?
I need you to call him again. I need my house keys. I can't believe how disrespectful you've been this whole time. This is not my fault. Do your job and call him again.
I've had it at this point. First it was your car key, then cell phone, now house keys. Miss, I'm not going to call him again. You forgot your things in his unit, and now you want me to spam call him all night just for you. I promise you your things are not my problem. You leaving is my problem.
I'll leave when you call him again.
No, you'll leave when the police get here. You're trespassing, and I don't have time to talk in circles with you.
I'm what? You fucking asshole! What's your name?
I answered her by closing the door in her face. As I walked back to the desk, security asked what to do. I said, sit back and watch this. I sat down and called the cops. But she took off before I could hang up the phone with them, and that was that. Security told me that while walking her to her car, she told him a completely different story, saying she was staying there and I was not doing my job. Then threatened to call the manager to report us if he didn't buzz her up. That's right, she had her phone on her too. He told her I was the manager and he didn't have the key to do so, forcing her to drive back down to talk to me. A few weeks later I saw X, and he told me he was sorry about her.
We broke up and she wanted to talk. Thank you for not letting her up to my door, and please don't let her in anymore.
This bitch was talking in circles to try to get into his unit. Bullshit. They didn't break up. He has a different woman up there every night. I bet he didn't pay her and she wanted him to pay up. Again, not my problem. Go away. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Coahw number 23. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. You know, every now and again, I get an email from a subscriber, and it floors me. I don't know how to respond to it. And it reminds me that I am not as smart a man as I wish I was. Perhaps not as good a man as I wish I was, because I think a better man might find the words more easily. And I got one of those today. Just 6 hours ago as I'm recording this, which was technically yesterday, but we'll not argue over that. And it's from a subscriber who lives in El Paso. And we've seen all the horrible things happening lately in El Paso and Dayton, to name two. And this young lady lives in El Paso. I'm not going to read it out. I'm quite certain if she wanted to share it publicly, she should have posted it somewhere publicly. And she just mentions that, you know, standard stuff. I like the voices. Enjoy the new video. And she was asking me to acknowledge what had happened. So I am. I do. My heart breaks. I feel a great swell of sympathy for the people there. But it's not enough. But I don't know what to do. I don't know what I can do beyond just plodding on and doing what I keep doing, hoping that I can offer some kind of distraction for people. I mean, I'm an entertainer. When it gets right down to it, that's what I am. That's what I want to be. So here we find ourselves. Another day gone by in the world a little darker. The idea of a glimmer of light somewhere in the distance, bringing on a better day, seeming further and further away. But we can't give up hope. We can't give up hope that, because the fact of the matter is, there is hope. There are good people in this world. There are those who have been and will continue to fight the good fight to make this a safer place for all of us. A safer place for kids to grow up. And if you don't want a safer world, quite frankly, you're a moron and I have no time to acknowledge your existence. Well, I always sign these videos off by telling you to take care of yourself. And I hope you do take care of yourselves. I also hope you're taking care of each other as well right now. Goodbye, everyone.